What's going on? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk, and I am dealing with the aftermath of the Super Bowl. That was a tough one last night, but man, you got to give it to Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, he is the MVP for a reason. He showed it last night, and let's just be honest, Andy Reid put on a masterclass in that second half. One of the things that you say as a ball player, and I'm saying that as generic, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, doesn't matter what you play. In regards to football, you got to play all 4 quarters, all 9 innings, both halves. It doesn't matter what sport you play, you got to put forth a good effort for the entire game. It can't be just a half. It's got to be the whole game. And we did not put forth a good effort for all 4 quarters. First half was stellar. Second half, not so much. And when you're playing against the best player in the league and one of the best coaches to ever do it, the margin for error is very slim. You got to play 4 quarters, man. You got to bring it all 4 quarters. Jalen Hurts played a phenomenal game, but he made one mistake. That fumble where he just lost control of the ball and they scooped and scored, that could have been a difference in the game. Other than that, that kid played an outstanding game. You can't give points away in the Super Bowl. 7 points makes a difference. That was his one mistake. Otherwise, he would have played, almost a perfect game in that situation. He's not known for turning the ball over, but for whatever reason, it happened in that game. And you can't make those mistakes. You can't. Now, when you look at the final score over my shoulder and you subtract 7 points from the Chiefs, the Eagles win that game. Now, who knows if it would have went down like that, but you get you get what I'm saying. And also something that I didn't really talk about this week, kind of in the back of your head, but special teams. Special teams came back and bit us in the butt. All it takes is one play for glory or ruin, and that kick return or punt return, whichever one it was, that was horrible tackling, horrible coverage, and they took the ball down to the 3 and ended up scoring. You take those 2 plays away and it's a different game. You gotta play every play. You gotta bring it in all 3 facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. That's 14 points. The turnover, the special teams play, that's 14 points. You got to bring it the whole game. As far as some players, I'm not sure what happened to Miles Sanders. I don't know if he got hurt, but he didn't have a very good game running the ball. Props to the Kansas City defense. They had it schemed up, and they were killing us. We never could take advantage of those matchups I was talking about where we could get the formation to our advantage on those linebackers. Because, like I said, those linebackers are good run stoppers. Not great cover men, but they can stop the run, and that's what happened. We had one play where it was, maybe 3rd and 2, and it was an outside sweep with Miles Sanders and I forget what the small linebacker for the Chiefs. The guy's 5'11", Bolton, I think his name is. He came up and laid a hit and kept Sanders from getting a 1.5 yards. That would have been a first down, kept the chains moving. We didn't get it. Like stuff like that. And, I don't know. Miles Sanders just didn't look right. Gainwell played better than he did. I don't know. It was weird. But guess what? Again, props to Kansas City defense, because them boys came to play. Their scheme was better than our scheme. Their defensive scheme was better than our offensive scheme when it came right down to it. They choked the run. We found success throwing the ball, and I thought that we would, because I wasn't particularly scared of their defensive backs, but we could not get a ground game to save our lives. If it wasn't for Jalen Hurts, our ground game would have been next to nothing. When it all comes down at the end of the day, Andy Reid just flat out coached Jonathan Gannon. We got beat on the same play twice for touchdowns. That one play where they do a jet motion across and then they stop and go back the other way. And when you're playing man-to-man and that DB is running with you, he gets caught in coverage and you stop, they snap the ball, and he goes back the other way, you've got probably about 3 to 5 yards of separation. And both plays, they walked into the end zone, and we had no answer for it. That is outstanding play design. That is a play that's designed by watching film on your opponent, knowing what they do. Great play call. We got out-coached. Their offense was better than our defense when it comes to coaching. They won that chess match. Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy put on a masterclass in that second half. He made John Gannon look like a rookie. It was crazy. As far as the weak call at the end, that was a weak call at the end. Nothing you can really do about that. I didn't like it. It was very ticky-tack. Was it the right call? Yeah, it was the right call. The problem is, if you call that, you should have been calling that during the whole game. Because there were opportunities to make that call all game. But you didn't. As a player, if they're not calling it, they're letting you play. You can get handsy and stuff like that. I've seen much more egregious calls than that weren't called because of the situation in the game, and they let them play. I thought the ball was uncatchable, so it shouldn't have been a flag. But they called it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Just like when we played Washington, obvious face mask that they missed that causes us to cough up the ball. They don't call it. What are you going to do? You bitch about it, but at the end of the day, what are you going to do? So, I'm not hanging my hat on that's the reason we lost. I would have liked to see Jalen Hurts with another opportunity with the ball in his hands to go down the field and possibly put us in a situation to tie or possibly take the game, but it didn't happen. It is what it is. That one call didn't make or break us. I'm more concerned about our defense not coming up to play press coverage, giving the wide receivers cushions when we didn't have to. Patrick Mahomes didn't throw the ball deep basically all game. They were dinking and dunking, short to mid routes. And we didn't come up and challenge the receivers at all. We were giving them the cushion, and they burned us with it. And when it came time for Patrick Mahomes to make a play, that's exactly what he did. Busted ankle and all. High ankle sprain and all. That's what MVPs do. And he didn't make that one mistake. We did not force one turnover on defense. Not one. For all of the 78 sacks we brought to this party, we didn't use one. We could not get to him. They were getting rid of the ball super quick. When he had to step up and run, the few times he did it, he did it. And we had no answer for it. We got out-coached. Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy out-coached Jonathan Gannon. Period. We tried to outscore him. We almost did, but again, like I alluded to earlier, if it wasn't for that one mistake by Jalen Hurts, it might be a different ballgame. But it is what it is. Lastly, the field conditions were god-awful. God-awful. Both teams were on skates that whole game. It was crazy. I thought the halftime show was weak anyways. I didn't even watch most of it. And me and my wife were trying to figure out if Rihanna was pregnant or not. Did she just have a baby? I don't know. I don't keep up with Rihanna, so I don't know. But a lot of people on social said that just the halftime show just busted up the field a lot. But this was happening in the first half. Both teams were on skates. I don't know what Arizona was doing down there. The field was horrible. But it was horrible for both teams, so you can't use that as an excuse. But for a Super Bowl, that's unacceptable. So whatever company put that turf down, somebody need to be getting their money back, because that was god awful. And what made it worse was the situation on the paint. If you were in the paint, you were getting no traction. We got a second and one or a third and one, and Kenny Gainwell tries to make a slight cut and just loses his footing, and we get nothing out of it. And that was happening with both teams. The turf was god awful. But at the end of the day, they came out in the second half and showed why they had the MVP and the best coaches, and they put it on us, and we had no answer for it. And when we did answer, it was a little bit too late. So props to the Kansas City Chiefs. They came to play, and they made more plays than we did. And like I always say, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes usually wins. And we made one mistake more than the Chiefs, and that mistake cost us big time. But that's the way it goes. That's why you play the game. I'm still proud of the Birds. Jalen Hurts, make your money, man. You showed up and you showed out on the biggest stage. So you deserve whatever it is you get. And I'm looking forward to going into this offseason, next season, and figuring out what's what, who stays, who goes. I think we got a lot of young players that are going to come up next year. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we find out which coaches are leaving, which coaches are staying, and all of that kind of stuff. So the Eagles are trending upwards, and we're looking good, and we'll be back in the playoffs next year, and I'm all for it. So great Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Chiefs, to all my boys, Alan DeGraff and Reid, to my boy Jason Dunn, all my friends that are Chiefs fans, Mr. Allen, appreciate you, love you. Congratulations to the Chiefs. Eagles will be back next year. Go Birds.